Business Spotlight, brought to you by Cross Rhythms and Baba Baboon.
I'm Sonya Farrell. This is Business Spotlight in partnership with Cross Rhythms City Radio and Baba Baboon. Joining me in the studio this week, we've got the team from Ignite Facilities. We've got Chris Brass and Craig Hancock. Hello, Chris.
Hi there. Are you well?
I'm good. How are you?
Very well, thank you. Nervous about this, but we're all in for it. Feet in first.
Don't need to be nervous. We're all friends here. Craig, how are you?
I'm all right, thank you. Laughing
good.
before we started.
That's it. It's got to be fun. That's what business is about, yeah?
Yeah.
So Ignite Facilities, Chris, you're the founder
Yep.
of Ignite Facilities. Do you just want to give our listeners just a little brief intro into what the business is and how long you've been going?
Well, before we start, it's me and the wife. If I leave her out, she'll kill me. Okay.
Don't say that.
Anyway, yeah. So yes, we've been going now for 8 years.
Mm-hmm.
And we basically try to concentrate on the commercial sector and the domestic as well, on the facility and management, so air conditioning, plumbing, all the heating, electrical, bit of everything. So if a building has got services in, that's us. We maintain that.
Now, I'm quite interested as well. You know, we've never had anyone in before on Business Spotlight from your actual, business sector. So I'm quite intrigued, and you're going to have to educate me a little bit on what goes on as well with the business. But heating, plumbing, there's so many different things there that a business must need to think about, whether it's a small business, a small building, or a large-scale building as well. So I know you're very experienced, Chris. We've chatted off air, but must have seen, should I say, a lot of different struggles and changes that have happened within the industry. Now, what do businesses, first of all, need to be aware of, and what have you actually seen and witnessed yourself of how things in businesses in your own sector have had to adapt?
I think it's all got to come down to all the energy bills, etc. Companies, especially more so than the domestic areas, companies see the energy bills going up, and the last thing that they want to do is spend on the maintenance, which has a detrimental effect in the long term because you don't maintain things. They break down at the worst time. You stop production, interference with operations, and the downtime can often cost a lot more than the cost of the servicing. So
what can businesses do to sort of help to prevent that in a way?
Ideally, each operations manager, a facility guy, a maintenance guy should have in place a plan, and that plan is to do regular maintenance. Now, what that plan consists of can vary from building, industry, customer, etc. Follow that plan. Have your regular checks. Could be every 12 months, every 3 months, and as a result of that, take advice, heed on the actions, and try to evaluate what you need to do, what's nice to do. So you've got things you need to do, things that are nice to get done, and act on them before they become a problem and cost you even more money. So.
And again, I suppose, we talked to a lot of businesses from all different industries on here on Business Spotlight. And one of the things that we often come across is it is all about the education process and businesses being aware. But like you say, there's so many different things. So, Craig, I don't know if you can answer this, but what do you see when you're dealing with businesses and how you can come across and get through that barrier to actually get through to businesses to help them to understand what is needed and why it's so integral?
I think it's the finding the solutions to when problems have arisen in the past. So dealing with schools that have shut down because the boilers stopped working. Well, there are temporary boilers that can be put in place. But then if we're going back to the preventative maintenance packages, if there's someone been going into the school and preventative maintenance packages, servicing everything regularly, you'll be able to say, well, that's probably going to have an issue at this point, or you'll go into somewhere and realise, we went in somewhere earlier on, that's why you're going later, because there was a water leak that was found when it was being serviced. No one goes down into the basement to look at anything down there, so it's only when it's being serviced that you go down there. Otherwise, it'd go, all right, we've got a big leak going on, there's no water in the premises, we're going to have to close, people are going to have to find other place. Panic happens. Whereas if it's getting a regular service in, you don't have that panic that ensues. And I think a lot of people are finding that it's useful to have, but you've just got to educate them because they want to see it's still that cost-saving exercise of, well, wait till something goes wrong.
And like you say, that cost-saving exercise, again, we're all business owners and we all like to, we all have to manage our budgets and everything and look at where we are saving costs. But again, sometimes I suppose, like we've talked about, it's not always at the fore. And, we've heard, all the time about sustainability and the environmental changes. I mean, how has that affected the industry?
Again, if we stick along the gas theme of things, because that's where the biggest change is, and obviously like solar as well. Yes, unfortunately, nobody knows what the future brings. Mm-hmm. There's that many ideas out there. Will the gas go? Will it be air source? Will it be electric? Solar? Nobody knows. And because there's that much uncertainty between the consumer, us as a service provider, the companies, the owners, etc., nobody knows what to do from day to day. But as a company, we just need to be well prepared. At the forefront, we need to be experiencing all the sectors, all the possibilities. And when we know what the future brings, then we are well prepared, and obviously we can act on them accordingly.
And what sort of businesses do you yourselves tend to work with, or do you see trends in? Maybe is it where people maybe are more receptive? Is it manufacturing? Is it hospitality? You've mentioned schools. Is it education?
I completely honestly, it all depends on these type of jobs. Seem to get done more if it's a bigger chain, if it's a bigger name, if there's legal teams at the back of it, if insurance providers are pushing them to get the jobs done. Smaller independents, which I understand because I can be the same. Smaller independent companies, it seems to go at the back of the priorities. But the ones where you tend to get it done a lot more is the public sector, so your schools, your libraries, your police, fire, etc. When it comes down to the independent shop owners, perhaps not so much, but the importance is just as much.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I don't want to go on about it, but it's getting more and more difficult to do it in the pottery sector as well. Mm-hmm. Obviously, everything that's happened in the region over the last 8 months. Mm-hmm. Closures, unfortunately, they pay a fortune for the gas and electric, so they've got to cut costs where they can. So yes.
So again, you mentioned even the pottery industry there, but it cuts in fuel bills, and again it's in the news constantly all the time. How again though, we've talked about educating business owners and we've talked about the importance and putting preventative measures in place. But is there any magic wand, or is there any way where you can foresee how you could help to maybe break that barrier and actually help to educate more?
I think as a company, it is education, as you say. Us doing things like this to try and get the word out. But it is just trying to get in front of those people. I mean, not to promote us, but we do offer surveys for free. Mm-hmm. So get us in. Let's have some free advice off us. I'll tell you what you do need to do, what I think you could do. But it's just getting out there and letting these know. Listen, let's think about it before it's too late.
Yeah, relationships.
Yeah, 100%. Networking.
It is that, and I think as well, companies, when you start talking, you've got to try and make them think, well, if say your heating system goes down, if it's the pottery industry, what if your kilns have gone down? How much is that going to cost you when it's gone down? How much money are you losing? Then it's not just that it's gone down, you've got to get it back up to temperature. That takes time, that takes money. So if you can keep it running consistently and manage the downtime by yourselves and go, well, so the end of the line's coming for this line, we've got a new product coming, so we've got a bit of time then, Ignite can come and get it all sorted. That'd be the time where you want to make sure that it is running smoothly. Mm-hmm. And I think people don't want to think of the negative costs of what if it wasn't working. You just think, it is working, we'll carry on. We do, especially in different networking scenarios, when it's the horror stories that you hear and you think, well, that shouldn't happen. But it shouldn't happen if it's being regularly maintained. So if it's a cost-cutting exercise, well, actually, are you saving costs, or are you having to pay a lot more money for a brand new system, boiler, whatever's gone wrong? But it's the educational piece, and the more people that realise it, I think the better.
And also, just to pose another question there, aside from the cost in that way, you know, with its produce, products and everything, but also, would you say, like, for staffing as well? Because if something did go wrong and it was quite big and it costs a business, and I know you can't speak for any business other than your own, but could you foresee where something like that could happen, where it could cost the business not only in staff where potentially they've lost a lot of money while they're waiting for something to get back up, or even staff might think, well, oh, here we go again, and they might even just want to leave a company because they see it, you know, it's not being looked after properly.
If you've got a building with staff that can't work from home, and then the building, because you've got heating regs, if the building is too cold for your staff to be in there, then you've got an issue. If the water's not working, then you haven't got the facilities, so you have to send your staff home. How much is it costing you to have a staffless business? You're still paying for your building. Everyone's at home. If you don't know what the issue is, you've then got to get someone to come in and find it. So I think the cost can easily accrue when things aren't maintained. And obviously, there can be a lot of chances where people might say, it's all right, my staff will put coats on and man through it. But what if they don't? Yeah. And I think you've got to always think, what if the worst case scenario happens? Whereas if it's maintained, if it's serviced, be able to plan it.
But it's not just a financial thing as well. I mean, go back to staff. After 8 years of employing, the one thing I've come to learn is you look after yourself, they look after you.
Yeah.
And it's a bit of a...
It's true.
Yeah, it is. And you want the good guys to stay and to do you a good job. You need to look after them. Now, if you are cutting a corner or cost just to save a buck or two, but it means that they work in a place that's cold, it's damp, things don't work, they're going to leave and find a brand new job. I think people go to work because they have to most of the time. So let's make the environment as nice as we can and comfortable.
Yeah, and Chris, going alongside from that as well, that you're coming into there talking about company values in a way. And no matter what industry you're in, like you've just mentioned there, everybody's got certain values and an ethos which they follow. So apart from your staffing and talking about the industry, just something a little bit different, what about your own corporate social responsibility? Do you do anything with partnerships with any other organisations or even charitable organisations within the city?
The main two charities that we're trying to promote this year is the YMCA Stoke, which is on the doorstep, and also Dougie Mac. As a part of that is a promotion every time we install a domestic boiler over the next 12 months. We started on May the 1st actually. We'll be donating £50 to the charities. Again, that isn't of any cost to the consumer. That's basically out of our pocket. Both the charities, they're local, close to all of us for one reason or another. So for us, it's part of the thing that we do. And we also sponsor quite a few kids' football teams. Okay. I think at the minute there's 3 that we do. Again, so yes, there's quite a bit that we do.
Behind the scenes.
Yeah.
So looking to the future then, Craig, you might want to come in a little bit here, or Chris might jump in as well. But looking to the future, again, I'm not sure yourself what you can answer here, but not just for the industry as a whole, but also I'm going to ask you a little bit about business in Stoke-on-Trent. Is there anything that you can foresee? Is there any challenges that you can foresee that are happening sort of right now that are coming up, in the next few months? And any barriers that, apart from educating other businesses, that you would like to break through?
I have actually seen positive.
Good.
Especially on social media. I know you've got all the capital and centric work that's going on. So businesses do seem to be coming into the city. And I think that's positive. The more that's going on around here, the better we can get locally. I think it's the positivity we need. Try stay away from the doom and gloom, and look for the positive outcomes. Because if there is more companies, more business coming in, there's more work for everyone available. You can bring more money into the local ecosystem, and I think that's what we need. There's always, there'll be roadworks that have got to happen because of this, and there'll be people that are upset because of roadworks. There'll be buildings that are having work done and people upset because they've always liked some mural that's on the building. It's always going to happen, but I think you do have to a little bit try to ignore the sort of naysayers and the negativity and focus on that Stoke-on-Trent can prosper again. And every time I see something positive, I'm happy with that, and I do try to ignore the negative side of it, because if you focus on a lot of news, you can become easily saddened and depressed. The good stuff is out there; it's coming through, and that's what I like to see. And I think there's a lot out there.
I love Stoke-on-Trent, I must admit. So, if I could do our bit to improve the area, I mean, we do concentrate on about 45 minutes of Stoke-on-Trent. More, as much as we can, we try to stay in Stoke-on-Trent or Newcastle, Leek, etc. We employ all engineers and an apprentice are all within a quarter of an hour of Stoke-on-Trent at the very most. So yeah, I think it's important to concentrate on your local area, bring what we can back into it, and I just hope that everything that we're doing is adding to that.
And we're also we've agreed to go into some local schools.
Okay, so what's that for?
To just talk to them about how you get into trades, and if you think if you're a hands-on kid out there and they think, well, got to go this path. Well, no, the journey of how to get into the trades industry, and if you want to be a plumber, if you want to be a heating, a gas engineer, how to get that, and then it isn't just it is fun job. And you don't have to think, right, I'm gonna have to take this route, it's defined for me. There's so many options out there, and just trying to get more kids out there into the trades. And so, because the amount, especially with networking, when you hear people saying, oh, I can't find a good whatever, well, you can. I mean, to be fair, the amount of people that I just go, ring up, and if we don't know someone, I mean, Chris will know someone, the years of experience, there'll be a number there for you to call. And I think if you can get more kids into it, it's just going to help the city prosper. Because we are both we're big fans of Stoke-on-Trent.
I forgot about the school thing. I'm really nervous.
Going in to speak to the children.
I'll be fine.
You'll be fine. You've done this, Chris. You've been absolutely fine. But just, I'm just going to elaborate on that though as well. Going into schools, and you've already mentioned you've got an apprentice yourself as well. I mean, it is important, isn't it? I mean, I've been in and spoke to various students, whether it's at the university as well, and different things like that. But I do feel it's important, and I do feel the more businesses that can get out and speak to younger people, I think it can only enhance, like you say, not just opportunities for younger people in Stoke-on-Trent, but also the local economy. Yeah,
I mean, children who are deciding what to do at the age of 15, let's say, in the trade, well, every trade at the minute, there's not a lot of younger people. If we advertise for employees, it's very rare that we get CVs that anybody who's under the age of about 35 at the minute, and there's definitely a shortage there. So hopefully, anybody who offers apprenticeships or goes there and explains the pros of being a tradesman to the schools, or those who are thinking about it. I mean, it's not for everybody, of course. I never aimed to be a tradesman. I kind of fell into it, but I'm really glad that I did. So there's definitely a future there for the younger generation.
Chris, Craig, thank you. Thank you for coming on to Business Spotlight, the first in your industry to be on Business Spotlight. So thank you very much. I hope you've enjoyed it.
Yeah, thank you very much, Travis.
Thank you.
Thank you. That's Chris Brass and Craig Hancock from Ignite Facilities here on Business Spotlight with me, Sonya Farrell.
Business Spotlight, shining a light on our local business community. Brought to you by Cross Rhythms and Baba Baboon.